Hi there, and welcome to my facial prosthetic tutorial. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a muscly, skinless face prosthetic, just like the one I made in my short film, Skin It to Win It. First, you need liquid latex. I just got this from Spirit Halloween. Then you're going to need any face powder. I'm using this one because it smells like peaches. And then a couple makeup brushes, one that's bigger and one that's smaller. And then lastly, you're going to need a little foam brush. I just got mine from like a dollar store, and then just use a foam one so you can throw it out afterwards. So I am starting after making a cement face mold. There's a bunch of tutorials. I can link you to one in the bio, but it was a really long process, so I'm just going to start from here. First, you're going to need some oil-based non-air drying clay. I just had some left over from another project, so I don't have it in the video, but I can link that in the description. So what I'm doing is I'm rolling it up like little snakes, and then I am taking it and smoothing it out underneath the eye to make it look like there's muscles, like an eye socket muscle. I am taking the little snake and I'm smoothing it out so that it has a nice transition to the face itself, so it's going to look somewhat seamless. And if you want to smooth it out, you just rub your hand along it until it's smooth. It's going to look lumpy for a little bit, but if you keep going, it'll smooth the whole thing out. So I'm doing this again to make 3 ridges. The second one, I'm doing the exact same thing with the little snake and then smoothing out the edges again to the third one. And then on the outside, I'm just making sure that it's most smooth and the most nice, like inclined to the face so that it can match and blend in with the skin when you put it on the face. So now I'm taking my liquid latex and I'm pouring it into a cup that I will never be using again. So this is so that you can take your little foam brush and then it's easier to just pick it up from the cup and put it on. So I'm taking that and I am patting a thin layer of this latex onto the piece I've sculpted so far. Just patting it out to make a thin layer. If you have a thin layer, it's going to dry faster and make the entire process way easier. Now I'm going around the edges of the sculpted piece. You want to make sure that you have a thin layer on the edge because that's where it's going to attach to the face, and if it's a big chunky layer, it's not going to really go on seamlessly. So just follow this all around the edges of the prosthetic and just use your tiny little brush and keep going until it's all done. This is a long process, so just like save an entire day to do this. We're still going, we're still doing it. I'm just patting everywhere else to make sure that it's an even coat. And then afterwards, to prevent the little cup from drying with the latex in it, I'm just putting plastic wrap over top of it so I don't need to keep pouring it over and wasting more. Now what you're going to want to do is just sit and wait. It's going to dry and then you're going to be able to put the next layer on. It usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes depending on the thickness of the layer you just put on. So just wait till it's completely dry and then you can come back and then repeat the step a few more times. You can tell when it's dry because it's going to look see-through. Before, when you put it on, it's white, then it's going to be see-through. So I'm just going in again, filling in the middle with more latex, and then I'm going gently over the side. I'm trying not to repeat myself, like trying not to put it over the edges again, just so that it's a thin layer. So as you keep going, as you keep putting layers on it, put less and less around the edges. So now I'm waiting for it to dry again. So depending on the thickness that you want, you're going to want to put more layers. For this, I put about like 10 to 15 because my actor that was using it is going to be moving their face a lot, so I don't want it to be thin and I don't want it to be able to rip it all. So now when it's completely dry, you want to put powder all around the outside because if raw latex touches raw latex, then it's going to stick together and you will not be able to get it apart. So you want to powder it up and make sure everything is all smooth and soft and all dry and powdery before you do anything else. So now you take up the edge, just pick up the edge with your fingers, and you have to peel it off so gently. So as you're peeling it off, one hand have the powder brush just so you can put powder on the bottom, because if that gets stuck together, you are not getting it apart. This part is going to take a lot of time, so just be incredibly patient when you're peeling it off. I've messed it up so many times where I got too ready to go and I wanted to get it over with, and I just ripped the whole thing off. So go as slow as possible and just keep putting more and more powder on the bottom just so it doesn't get stuck together. So for this entire mask, I did it in about 4 or 5 pieces. So I started with underneath the eyes. I made 2 for each side. And then I did the bottom of the face as 1 piece, like the jaw area. And then I did the forehead and the top of the head as another area itself. I wanted my actor to talk, so we had to make every piece separate so that it would move. And now we're getting to the edge. Just keep powdering and be more and more gentle depending on how thick your prosthetic is. I think mine ripped a few times, so just be like even more careful than I was. And especially around like nooks in the face, it's going to be harder to pull on, it's going to be harder to come out. So that's where you have to be especially delicate, where the little details in your face happen. And when it's all pulled off, you should have something like this. So we have something that's thick in the middle and it has all of the details from the clay. And then it's thin around the outside so that it's easy to blend into the person's face that you're trying to put this on. And that is how I made my face prosthetic. So thank you so much for watching, and I will put a link to the short film in the description. Go check that out so you can see how the entire face prosthetic came together. Thanks for watching.